All right. Hi. My name is Denise Cruz. I'm going to share with you today about using Primo. I'm a librarian and I also teach English. Um, Glad to have you all with me. And in a few minutes, I'm going to ask for some ideas of research topics and also any questions you have. So just kind of keep that in mind if you have any topics you're interested in that you can share. Um, so, another thing that I'd love to know is just how you found out about this workshop so we can do a better job publicizing it. So if you wouldn't mind like typing that into the chat and just where did you hear about it, that would be really helpful to us and very grateful for that. So I'm going to start by just showing you just a really brief PowerPoint to introduce what Primo is. Some of you may have heard of it. It's a new system that the library has, and it's thrown a few people off because they were used to the old system. But I'm here to tell you it is a good system and it's worth getting to know. It can really help you make your life easier, make your research easier, make your research more effective and more efficient. So I'm going to start with just what is Primo? So some people call it a search engine that the library has. Some people call it a discovery tool. Um, so it's sort of a search engine, although not quite the same as Google, because Google is not just focused on academic sources. Primo is more focused on academic sources that you can use for your course research here at Regent. Um, and there's a few other differences. Obviously, Google has free reign of the whole web. We're more focused on things that we own in our library, although we do, Primo does search the web as well. Um, but basically it's a search engine. So we're all kind of used to using search engines, I think. It's kind of part of modern life. We look things up on the internet. So I'm going to sort of explain how Primo is really helpful. Sometimes we're tempted to only use Google and use the internet to do our research, but that has certain limitations because it's not going to bring us to the sources that are owned by the library. And because you all are students or maybe your faculty or staff, you have all these resources at the library at your disposal because of your job or because of your tuition. And so, I want to make those available to you and show you how to find them. So that's one benefit of Primo. It's going to open up a whole world of books and articles that you can't really find on the internet because you have to pay for them, right? So you might see them on the internet, but you'd have to like subscribe or order the book and pay for it. But here at the library, of course, it's all covered for you. So, and we can even borrow from other libraries. Um, so Primo is kind of your gateway to all of those great resources. So why do we use it? One reason is that because the library has so many databases. I asked our tech person recently, how many databases does the library subscribe to? And she said 399. So that's a lot, right? I wouldn't expect you to do your research by going through every one of those 400 databases, right? Because that would take forever. So Primo is a good way to start because it is connected to our databases and it's going to search them for you. It doesn't always search everything in every last database that we have, but it searches the majority of what we have. So it's still good to go into those databases as well. But Primo is a great place to start because it's a one-stop shop where you can look in our databases for our electronic sources like articles and ebooks, but you can also find our print books in our library catalog in Primo as well. So it's all integrated. It used to be that you had to search a library catalog to find books and then a separate system to find articles, but now it's all together. Also, you used to have to use a separate interlibrary loan system, which was a little bit complicated. Now it's part of Primo. So that means all of those library services that you have as a member of Regent are combined in Primo. So it makes it a lot easier for you. A few things besides articles and books and ebooks, we have streaming video databases. We have databases that are just encyclopedias and dictionaries. We have suggested sources that we don't even own, but other libraries that we partner with own, and they're suggested to you as possibilities. We also have links in Primo to really good web resources like free journal articles that might be online, but you might not find them right away through Google, but Primo will show them to you because it's focused on finding those good academic sources, even if they're free on the web, even if they're not something we have to own, but it's still going to help you find those. So it's a one-stop shop for just sort of everything you need at the library pretty much. Although there are other good tools too, which I'll mention, but Primo is really the place to start. And it helps you stay organized because you can save your favorite sources while you're searching. Sometimes, you want to just go through a list of sources and save them quickly so you can come back to them. So it allows you to do that when you click on a little thumbtack, meaning you're pinning it to your little personal bulletin board of favorites. And then you can organize all of those into folders. It also contains your library account. So when you want to see, do I have any books checked out? Do I have any interlibrary loan articles that came in? Do I owe any fines? Whatever question you have about your account, it will all be in Primo for you. So that is just an overview of what it does. And I want to show you what it looks like so you know what you're looking for with Primo. The next page I'm going to show you is our main Primo search page, and it's the one that I keep bookmarked right at the top of my screen all the time on my toolbar. I don't know if you guys use bookmarks, but I find it really helpful to just have Primo bookmarked there all the time because I do research a lot. But I think it's good for anyone to have that just ready to go. Also, because like I said, it's also where you have to sign in. Even if you're using a database or something else, you have to sign into Primo. Excuse me. So the next thing is I'm going to show you what that looks like. So this is the Primo page, and this is our search page. It's not really exciting. There's no cool pictures or anything, but it's going to unlock so much wealth and treasure of research for you. And I also put the link here for you. Hi, I'm doing my workshop. Can I call you back? Sorry about that. So there's a link there, but I'll show you this online as well. It's kind of a long link. Sorry about the unwieldy URL there, but this is, you see right here, there's tabs at the top, and those tabs are all really useful tools as well. And right away, here's your search bar where you're going to do your search, and you can already narrow it down like to what kind of items you're looking for. If you want to do an advanced search. And notice my name up at the top right, that means I'm signed in when I took the screenshot of this. And so that's really important because you have to be signed in to look at the digital sources and to save sources and things like that. And see this thumbtack up here? If you could turn off your sound, that would be helpful. And see the thumbtack up here? That's where I save my favorites, so I can go look at my list of favorites whenever I want. And then here, see this white bar here where it says still didn't find what you need? It's right under the search bar.
How do you find that? I'm sorry. How do you find that back? Your tab? Like your the pinpoint?
The thumbtack?
Yes, I'm sorry, thumbtack. Gosh, excuse me.
You mean like when you're searching?
Right.
I'll show you all that.
Okay, I'm sorry, excuse me.
So see this white rectangle here where it says still didn't find what you need? Click here to create an interlibrary loan request. That's if you can't find, you have a book or an article that you know you want, but it's not anywhere in the system. Click on that, and that will allow you to make an interlibrary loan request. And so I don't know if you guys have ever used interlibrary loan, but it's a wonderful tool. We have a whole staff of people in the library here in the back of the library, so they're kind of hidden away. They're elves that are just working constantly. They're the busiest people on campus, really, because they're getting books and articles and other things like DVDs and stuff from libraries all over the country for people at Regent, and then they send them to you if you're a distance student, or they email them to you if they're digital. But they can basically find almost any source you need somewhere, so you don't have to buy any sources or subscribe to any journals or newspapers, because they can get those things for you. If you can't find that source anywhere in our system, you just click on this white bar to fill in a request, and then they'll work on getting it for you. So those are the things you can see right away, right when you come to the Primo page. And also, if you look up at the top where it says new search, every time you do a new search, you have to click that, because you have to kind of clear out the search system every time, or else it'll get clogged up. And then the next tab says A to Z database list. So if you want to look at our separate databases, which is a great thing to do right after you use Primo, is to also try the databases separately. Like I said, Primo does search the databases, but it's also good to search them for your subject, like just go into the religion databases or the business databases or whatever you're researching, because it's going to kind of show you slightly different results and use different tools to search. So you can click on that to get to those. We have Regent special collections of things that are only found in the Regent library. You can click on there. If you're looking for a journal or magazine title to see just if we own that journal or that magazine, you can click on this tab. If you're looking for a newspaper article, you should try this tab because they are not really searched in the main Primo search. So I always recommend going to that tab if you need a newspaper article, or if you just want to look at the major newspapers like New York Times, Wall Street Journal, that sort of thing, you can just click there and you can look at those. And then the citation linker is like if you already know your citation for your source, like you know the title and the author, or you know some of the information, and you need that source, you can try that because it's kind of a quick way to focus in on the source you're looking for. So this is just all what you can see right away when you go to Primo. There's already a lot of kind of there for at your disposal. All right, but how do you get to this page if you don't have it saved in your bookmark bar like I do? You can go to the main library webpage, which is looks like this, and see this nice picture of the library. This bar right here is your Primo bar, so you can start your search right there. Just type in your keywords that you're looking for, or you can click search and it will take you directly to this page right here. You can also find our hours, you can find the database list, research guides, and also how to contact a librarian. So it's really easy to contact a librarian. And by the way, this is the URL for this page up here. Oh, sorry, I clicked on it and it brought me to it. If you want to chat with a librarian instantly, you can click on the Ask a Librarian, or if you want to submit a question to us or call us or however you want to contact us, you can find that information there. All right, so you can also find Primo in a lot of our research guides, which are web pages we make to guide you to the right databases for your topic. And so see this little search bar on the top left here. That's the same as the one on the home page and the same as the one on the Primo page. You can start searching basically on any page in our library system. There's a Primo bar, or you can click on search and it will take you over to that Primo page with the tabs. But remember to always sign into Primo before you try to go into any other databases like these ones, because you won't be able to get into them or get sources from them if you're not signed in at Primo, and that's where your account is. So that's the next thing I want to show you is you're going to get a login in Primo whenever you try to look at a source. And I just try to sign in right when I start searching so I can start saving my favorites. So it's going to give you a login like this, and it's just like your email. You just want to put in your same credentials for your email and so on. And then the next thing is I want to show you what your account looks like. This is your library account. See where my name, Denise Cruz, is in the top right? I clicked on that and it gave me this drop-down menu. It shows me my loans. If I have any books checked out, it shows me my requests, which are like things I request through interlibrary loan. In my RefWorks account, which is a place I can store my sources that will make a bibliography for me, which is really nice. And that's linked to Primo. So I recommend getting a RefWorks account if you haven't. Just makes bibliographies and works cited pages really easy, and it makes it easy to kind of keep your sources organized as well. It also can show you your search history, especially if you save your searches. Like if you do a search and you're like, oh, I love the results of this one, you might want to save that, and then it will, you can go back to that whenever you want. And then of course the thumbtack is your favorites up there. That's where, if you click on that, it will show you everything you have saved. All right, and then the next thing is I just listed all the tools that are in Primo, which is like a ton of stuff here, as you can see. But I just want to talk about a couple, and then I'm show you some examples. So the first tool I have here is direct links to digital sources and databases and on the web. So that's the main reason we use Primo, is we're looking for articles or ebooks or print books, and Primo is going to give us direct links to how to get to that source. So a lot of times you'll see an article or an ebook record. A record is just all the information about a source, and it will say available online, or it will say available as PDF in green letters, and you just click on those green links and it will take you directly to that database where that source is. Now, every once in a while, those links might give you trouble or might not be accurate. And in that case, you can contact a librarian or go to the databases, or you can try Google Scholar, which is also a good way to search our system. But Primo is really the best place to try to do a big, broad, sweeping search of all of our holdings. Another thing it has is subject indexing and author indexing, as well as by genre, location, and date. So indexing is just how things are organized in the library, meaning like there are people that actually type in all these sources and enter them under the author's name that they're by. So that means you can click on the author's name, which will be linked in green, and you can find everything by that author. So if you find an author that's really helpful to your topic, find other things by that author too by just easily clicking on his name or her name. Subject indexing means the librarians put subject labels on each source. So like say there's a source about the history of sports in the 20th century in America. You would click on that and it will bring you other sources about the history of sports in 20th century America. And because the librarians have indexed or categorized them all by subject, by author, by genre, meaning is it a book, is it a peer-reviewed journal, is it an encyclopedia, is it a movie, what is it? And location, meaning like is it located in our physical library or is it online or is it at another library? And then by date. So a lot of times you might need recent sources, so you can order your sources that come up by date. And I'll show you all that in a minute. If you go down to these bullet points here, it's also going to give you shelf browsing, which means other books that are on the shelf in the library next to these books, which means they're on the same topic. Because the way books are organized in the library, all the books on the same topic are together. So shelf browsing is virtual now. You don't have to actually physically be inside of a library to do it. You can look at Primo and it will show you what would the books be on this topic on the same shelf. Oh, thanks, Samson. And then related reading means other suggestions that Primo is making to you of other books that you might want. So it's helping you with your research, making you suggestions to you. It's also going to give you summaries of books and articles, table of contents, meaning the chapter titles, and publication info, like who published it. And all of that is really important if you're trying to find out if it's going to help you. So you might want to look at the chapter titles before you look at the book to just make sure that it's really relevant to your topic. You might want to look at the summary of the book. You might want to look at who published it to see if it's an academic book or just a popular book that you might get at, Amazon.com or something. So what kind of book is it? So all of that helps you understand. And like I said, you can also save favorites. You can also export your sources to RefWorks, which is that account that makes a bibliography for you. So there's a lot of great things. We also have a few new functions in Primo. One is the hold request up here. That means if you come to school on campus here, you can click hold request and we'll get you a book and put it at the front desk for you. If you live at a distance from here, you can click hold request and put in your address and we'll mail the book to you. There's also something called document delivery, which is a new easy system where you can have a source in our library copied for you. Now you can't have a whole book copy, but you can have like one chapter of a book or one section of a book copied for yourself and sent to you on your email. So that way you can write on it, you can save it, you can have it forever. You don't have to return the book, and you can get it really quickly rather than like waiting for the book to be mailed to you or something. So document delivery is really easy. It's all part of Primo. So is interlibrary loan. So are the hold requests. All right, so now I'm going to show you some examples of how this works. I'm going to switch my view here into share screen. And if anyone has a suggestion of a topic you're interested in researching, I would love to use that as an example. If you would like to, whoops, that's not good. Sorry, I just did something wrong with this. Okay, Elizabeth?
Well, I have an example on my thesis question. It hasn't been approved yet, though, I want to be clear.
Okay.
But It's how do practicing believers understand political government?
Okay.
And the practicing
Okay.
believers consist of Messianic Jews and born-again believers.
Okay. All right. So remember I said you could start your search on our main library page like this, or you can just click on search, and which is I like to start on this page here. So first I sign in, make sure that I'm in the system, and okay, so there's different ways we could approach this topic. We could do like a Christian view of government. Sometimes you want to keep your search simple to start with, because if you put in too many terms, you're not sure if you're going to really get anything. It might be too many or too specific, or you might not be getting the terminology exactly right for how other people write about it. So I usually like recommend using simple terms, and then if you find a lot or it's not really bringing up what you need, then you can add more terminology to try to like narrow it down a little more. But let's see if we find anything with this. So let's try just Christian view of government, which is kind of a simple way of putting it. So this is a simple search, what I just did here. I just typed my keywords, my best guess of how to search right into that white bar, and I searched for it, right? I clicked my little magnifying glass here. Now I could have already narrowed it down here with this where it says all items. I could have narrowed it down to only books if that's all I want. I could have narrowed it down by looking for these words only in their exact phrase or just at the beginning of a title. I could have also narrowed it down to only in the title of the source or anywhere in the record or the author. So if I'm searching for an author's name, I might want to narrow down to just search the author field in the record. Or I can narrow it down to only full text sources, meaning I need my source now, so I don't want to wait to have to request it or anything like that. You can also change this setting here to, are we looking in the library book catalog? Are we looking just for articles? Are we looking through everything? You can also click on advanced search. I'll show you that in a minute. But let's look at what we found here. So we have 14,000 results. So that's kind of a lot, maybe too many, you know, to obviously to go through. But there's a few things we can do here. First, I would just look to see if it was a good search. So you want to see, is it relevant? So let's look at this first one. Save the economy, liberty, and yourself. Christian nationalism and Americans' views on government COVID-19 restrictions. So it's about COVID, but it's actually about political philosophy, because it's about liberty and kind of Christian nationalism and how those are tied together. So that could be relevant to me. And notice we have it online. So this is, if I need my source right away, especially, that's good. It's also peer reviewed, meaning other academic experts have checked it over, and it's also open access, which means I could find it on the web for free, but Primo helped me find it, so that, and I can save it in Primo. So I'm going to click on this just to show you guys what the record looks like. This is the record for the source. So notice here, I can click on this to read it. This is all the databases that actually have this as well. These are our databases that Primo is searching for you. Notice also I can click on details and find more information. This is the author, Perry, Whitehead, and Grubbs. Say I really like them, I can click on their names and do an author search. Primo will instantly show me everything by Samuel Perry. So maybe there's other things by him about this same topic, and he's kind of a specialist in Christian views of government, and so I can find more by him. It's also giving me the journal title, so I can click on the journal title and find other articles in that journal, which might be helpful. Or I can click on subject indexing. So notice all these subjects: Christian nationalism, libertarianism, evangelicalism. These all might be relevant to what I'm looking for. And I can click on those and it will show me all the other articles on that topic. Now notice also it gives you a summary of the article, so you can tell if it's relevant to you. The publisher is Oxford University, so that's a really good publisher. And then, so that is great. And then notice here, this one, the next source here, number 2, is a physical paper book. So if you live at a distance, remember I said you can still use our books. So if you click here, you can find if you want to go find the book in the library, you can by just writing down this number, BR115, etc. That's where you can find it on the shelf. Or if you want to have it sent to you, you can click Request Regent's Copy, which is the hold request. Or you can have it saved at the front desk if you live close to here. And then if you just want a chapter of this book scanned for you, you can click Request PDF. And then this form will come up, and it's really easy. You just say which chapter you want and which pages if possible. And then you click on this copyright release down here to just that you're not going to try to sell this or, you know, use it illegally or something. And again, you can see the subjects, the authors. Because it's a book, it gives you shelf browsing, meaning these are other books that are going to be next to it on the shelf, so you can find other books on the same topic. Also up here in the top right, these are recommended readings from the system. So notice these are all relevant to religion and politics. And you can click on it to see if we own those or if you can get those. Now, notice I can click on this if I want to save it to my favorites, and I can click on this if I want to save it to my favorites. And look, here's a more classic, older source. This is from 1848, so somebody was studying this back then, which sounds really interesting to me, so I can save that as well. Christian Worldview of Government sounds really relevant here. So, and then I can also try these facets over here. So I could click on if I only want articles, if I only want books, if I only want ebooks, because I need to read them right away. I can also click on reference, which means encyclopedias. So say that I just want some real brief factual information about this topic. I don't want to read a big journal article. I can click on reference, although that's not coming up for this topic. But say I need peer-reviewed journals, I can narrow it down like this, or full access online for online sources that I need to read instantly. Or if I just want print books in the library, I can click on held by the library and print. So I'm going to try doing this one, full access online, because I know that's one a lot of people use. And that's going to narrow down my search to 6,000 results. So these are all things you can look at right away because they're fully accessible through Primo right away. It doesn't mean they're all good for me. Like I might not really want some of these, but like this one doesn't seem relevant because it's not about America, the second one. What if I wanted to look at American Christian views of government, I could add the word America to narrow it down. Or over here in the left margin of my thing, I can narrow it down by date. Like if I only want recent sources, I can change it to 2010, something like that. Or maybe I only want in the Trump era, so I change it to 2015. Or see this where it says subject, I can click on political science and narrow it down to just articles about political science. So let's try narrowing it by date here, and it will take my results from 6,000 down to 2,000 results. So it's narrowing it down and focusing in more on what I want to see. And let's see if I can add America. If maybe that's how I want to narrow it down to focus on a certain country. All right, so that narrowed it down a lot and focused it more. All right, so let's look at a couple other sources. I see people are suggesting other things. All right, or maybe people are suggesting other things. Does anyone else have an idea of a topic that you want to look for?
Yes, I teach business. I would like to help students learn how to find marketing information, such as demand for a product and perhaps trends for the kinds of products that are popular.
Yeah. Okay. So trends of popular products like right now.
Yes, like current market trends, a demand for a product.
Okay. Well, okay, so I'll try a search in here and then I'll also show you somewhere else you can look too. So if I click on new search, that will clear out everything that I did on the last one. So that's what I want to start with a clean slate here. So I could say current market trends. Is there any other terms that you would add?
For example, vehicles.
Okay. And you know what? Let's do an advanced search with this one. So you could do, another thing you can do is put your search terms in quotation marks, and that's a really good way to, if you want this exact phrase to come up in your sources, you can do that. And that's really helpful in narrowing it down, because otherwise you're going to get all these sources that just have the word current and the word market somewhere in them. But if you want them together, you can put it in quotation marks like this. So let's see if this, how many things this brings up. And I'm going to put in vehicles or cars or automobiles. So, because those are synonyms for the same thing. And see how it has an operator, which is this word and. I can also change that to or not. And I could use or if I want different synonyms on those different lines, or I could use not if I want to exclude, like I don't want any sources about trains or boats. You know, I just want things about cars or something. So I could do not trains, not boats, or whatever I'm trying to keep out of the search. But let's see what comes up here and see if it works. And we don't know if it will. It could bring up nothing, but just it's sometimes it's just trial and error. Okay, so this brought up 4 things. So that's a pretty small search. That could be good. It could mean that they're really relevant to us. So this is a real recent one, 2022. So that's good for current trends. So it's about battery electric vehicles. That sounds like it's relevant to what you're looking for. And that also gives me an idea. If I want to do a more specific search, I might just search for electric vehicle trends. Maybe that becomes my research focus, as I realize there's a lot being written about that. And I realize it's kind of an interesting topic to me. Okay, so here we have automotive market growth down at the bottom. This might be good too. It's 2016 though, and it's from India, so I'm not sure how relevant that would be. But if I had gotten a lot of sources, I could narrow it down by date for just current. So let's do a new search and do a little simpler search here. I just wanted to show you how to do the advanced search. So current, let's try current market trends by itself. And just try vehicles. And I'm going to put a little asterisk at the end of vehicle because I want to bring up the word vehicle or vehicles and bring up both in my search. So notice I put quotation marks around current market trends. So I get that phrase. And then say I want it to be really current. So I'm going to narrow it down to just the last year or so. So that's one way to narrow it down. And look, that same article about the electric vehicles coming up. Oh, and also articles in other languages, I can eliminate if I don't know those languages. I can just click on English down here as an option. And then look, there's a subject index for electric vehicles. So if I click on that, I'm going to find other things about electric vehicles, which is nice, or about automobiles or whatever other subject is being listed here. But that's still a pretty like kind of overly specific search. So let's just I'm going to do cars or vehicles, and I took the quotation marks off. Okay, so this has more results here. And so again, now it's got like too many, so I could narrow it down a little bit over here if I only want peer-reviewed journals. I can also narrow it down by the database that it's searching. Like if I know I like this Business Source Complete database, I can click on that and it will just show me those. Or I know I want English sources, or I know I want new things, like because I've already done this search in the past and I just want new stuff. So there's all different kinds of tools here. And then I'm also going to show you like where I save my favorites, which Samson asked about. I'm going to go over to here where my favorite, my thumbtack is up here, and it shows me everything I've saved. So the 2 that I just saved about government are in here. Now notice I also have all my labels over here. These are my folders where I organize all my sources that I've saved. So if you want to add your sources to label, you just click on the sources you want to add, and then you go up here to add labels. And so then I might add one for government. Okay. And then it's going to notice the label popped up there. And so then that puts it into a folder over here. See where government appeared here? And then I click on that and it just shows me the sources in that folder. Like, or if I click on children's literature, which is one that I have, I will just see those, okay? And I unclick the government one. So it'll just show me the children's books that I have saved in my other folder. So this is really nice, your favorites and your folders, which are called labels. All right, so I'm going to go back to the main Primo search page, which you see I have bookmarked up here on my toolbar. And are there any questions about any of those things that I've showed you? Okay, Elizabeth?
Real quick, so in order to get the folder, you hit the labels first for the folder, and how'd you get the to government in the folder? I missed that.
You mean to add them to that
Yes.
folder?
Yeah, like
I clicked on the little box next to the title.
Oh, okay.
That's only if you're doing more than one. So then you would click add. I already added the label, so it's not really giving me. It's giving me edit label now, but
Okay.
then it put them in the label that I made a new label. I could have also selected one of my existing labels to put it in.
Right.
Or you can do it one at a time. Like if I just see this little pencil here, I can click on that and add another label. So actually a source could go in more than one label. It could be in my government label and my Christian view of government label or whatever.
Okay.
So then I can, organize it in different ways. Also, you can export multiple sources over to RefWorks. So see this little 3-dot drop-down menu up here. You can click on if you use any of these programs to make bibliographies, you can do that. I use RefWorks. So say I click on that, it will bring them over to my RefWorks account. And I'm going to show you that real quick. This is RefWorks. If you don't have RefWorks, I recommend signing up for it. It's a free account that Regent provides to you. And in RefWorks, these are some of my sources that I have saved that I've exported from Primo over to here. And notice they still have my labels on them and other labels. But say I want to make a bibliography with all of these sources on this page, because I'm using them all in my paper. So I click on the little box next to it, and then up here where it says create bibliography, I do that, and then it's going to ask me what style, and I use MLA. So I'm going to click on MLA and see that nice bibliography I just got. And then I'm going to copy it and bring it over to my Microsoft Word document where I'm writing my paper and just paste it there. But I want to say you should check your citation format, because sometimes there's errors in the automatic citation format. Like it'll list the editor as the author, or it'll get the capitalization wrong, or get the punctuation wrong. Or like here, there's a spelling mistake. See that? Library instead of library. So you have to check it, but it gives you a good start at citations. And also, if you go back to Primo, notice if I go into the source record, I can get a citation here. If I click on, see this little, well, first of all, here's a permalink if I want to save the link to the source. That's really helpful to copy that. You just copy that and paste it into whatever you're using. Or you can click on citation here and then choose Chicago, APA, MLA, whatever, and then copy it. And again, it can give you errors but it's still a good start, right, on MLA format for me. So that is a citation you can just copy really instantly. Don't want to forget that, because that's a very helpful thing. Also, if you're back in the main Primo search, and say I search for American history and sports, I can save this search. See where it says save search, and then it will be in my special saved searches folder as well. And if I like these sources here in my search, I can then save those to, or export them to RefWorks from here or into my favorites list. So another thing, I don't think I showed you book from another library, but like, let's see if this book is at our library.
Thank you.
Sure. This one's an ebook, so I would go right into this database link to look at this ebook on sports and American life. or I could save it and look at it later. It also gives me journals if I want to browse through a journal and just see the articles from this journal about sports history, ebooks. But I'm going to look at, I want to look at a book in another library. Let's see. So let's see, maybe this one will be at another library. Oh yeah, so see where it's, oh no, we have it here in the Regent Library. Never mind. But if it was from another library, it would have a link for me called Get It from Other Libraries. And then I could instantly request that it be sent to me, or I get a chapter digitized and sent to me. And so here's one. Get It for Me from Other Libraries, number 3rd source down. So I click on that, and it's about how worldwide American sports have colonized the world, you know, and become popular all over the world. So if I want the whole book, I would have to get the physical copy mailed to me because they can't copy the whole book for me because of copyright law. If I just want part of it, though, I could get an article and click on Get It. See that? And get a chapter. And then I could just request by page number or chapter title what I want copied for me. And that's interlibrary loan. So your interlibrary loan account is all part of Primo, and it makes it really easy. You used to have to go into a separate account. So now it's a lot simpler. All right. Okay, so Sarah said transubstantiation. That's a great, and Dr. Don Solomon asked about RefWorks. Okay, so RefWorks, there is a research guide called RefWorks, and this is the link to it. It's if you just click on this green link right here, that you sign in with your Regent email, like your username, like mine is D Cruz, yours is probably, I don't know, D Solomon or something like that. So use whatever your Regent username is, and then you make up a separate password for RefWorks. But a nice thing is when you're signed into Primo, it will directly link you to your RefWorks. So often you don't even need to sign into it. But that is how you do it. It's using this page. So I'll put that little link in the thing right here. Okay. And a lot of our library web pages you can find through Google. Just Google Regent University Library RefWorks or Primo or research guides or whatever. And I wanted to show Melody also the business databases for her request. So if you're in Primo, you can click up here where it says A to Z database list, and this is our full list of databases. See all these? It's a lot. This is the 400 databases that I was talking about. It's probably too many for you to go through. So what I would do is click on suggested databases by subject. So for you, it would be business, Melody, and this is our research guide for business that recommends the best databases. And a couple of these are just business profiles of like company profiles. So they're going to help you with trends and marketing. So I will copy that for you. And then you can also, these two on the left are kind of the main business ones, ABI and Business Source Complete. So you can always try those. And I'll copy that. And also I would recommend talking to our business librarian, Harold Henkel, because he can really help with the subject specific things about business. And so I'll just put his name here if you want to contact him and his email address.
Yes, thank you. I've worked with Harold and he is great. Some of these, it's difficult for some students to find demand and a need for some products or even some of their innovative ideas. Some want to be entrepreneurs, and I want to show them some ways, which as you showed in here, you can find out information about whether something will sell or not.
Right. And so if you have a specific product in mind, that can really help, like electric vehicles, or, you know, like you could try different terminology like market report. So someone asked about views of transubstantiation. So I'm just going to search for that. And then notice it brings up a lot. Some of them are older, which could be useful if I'm researching like historical views of transubstantiation. Is the question of whether when you have communion, whether does it turn into the body and blood of Christ, literally. So say that I'm interested in the Reformation time when they were debating that question. Maybe I just want those older sources from the 1600s and 1500s or something. So, you know, that these look like some good things that came up. I could also try just transubstantiation, or Catholic view, or Protestant view, or Calvinist view, or something like that, or Anglican view, different denominations or different theologians. So notice here, it talks about Thomas Aquinas, who was a Catholic theologian. So that might give me some ideas. And then over here, I can narrow it down to, do I just want journal articles? Do I just want reference? Remember I said reference is encyclopedia. So I say I just want some brief information about what is transubstantiation. How do you define it? I can click on reference, and it's going to give me, look, the Oxford Dictionary of the Christian Church, which is a great encyclopedia reference type source that you can use. Encyclopedia Britannica. This looks like a maybe Catholic encyclopedia, Columbia University encyclopedia. So these are all really good. And, you know, people always tell you don't cite Wikipedia, but maybe you need a definition or some background information. Come to Primo and just narrow it down to reference. Or another thing you can do is type in, like, say you're looking at the book of Genesis and you want Bible commentary, you can just type in, literally just type in the word commentary, and it will bring up all of our Bible commentaries on Genesis. Some of them are in print in the library, some are online, you know, that sort of thing. And that's a way to narrow it down as well. So, and then if you are interested in religion topics, I recommend going to our divinity databases, which are over here in our database list. See where it says divinity and religion. Atla is a really good one, and it helps you research scripture and what scripture says about different topics. So that's a great one as well. So our databases are good to use too, but I always recommend starting with Primo. And then someone had asked about the history of humanitarian Christian nonprofits, I think. That's a lot of terms, so I'm not sure if how much it will bring up. But let's see what happens with it. Okay, so here we've got Christian humanitarians in Sudan. That sounds interesting. So you might want to narrow it down to, do you mean international nonprofits? Do you mean American? Do you mean like older ones like the Red Cross or something like that? You know, or maybe you have a specific one in mind.
Yes, I mean it could be both international or America. Well, I think it's more in America. They have not really approved it yet, but I'm trying to. That was what I turned in to chat, you know, to do research on how they function then and how they function now. So,
Yeah.
like, what's words like can I use to get me something that, you know, I would need, like in history?
Right. Well, I recommend playing around with the terms.
Okay.
Like here, it looks like some of these might be helpful, like this one, and then the second one. It doesn't say Christian though, so that might not be right. But you know, you might want, let's see, to try a different word like religious.
Religious. Okay.
Like, let's see, Christian or religious. So when I put the parentheses, it gives me alternative terms, so it can bring up either one of those
Okay.
terms. And so yeah, it's a little focused more on religious nonprofits. I could also, yeah, here's one, a framework of practical theology for faith-based organizations could be relevant. Here's Christian nonprofit. So notice here they spelled nonprofit with no space. That could be a clue that I need to spell it differently. So that's something to pay attention to. And that's a dissertation, which is usually acceptable to your professors, meaning someone wrote it for their PhD. So it's kind of like a book. It's a long, in-depth source. So another thing that you can do is link Google Scholar over to search in a similar way that Primo does. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles and but it can help if you're not sure of the exact terminology. Like say I put history of Christian nonprofit organizations here, and you said to compare to today. I'll even
Yes.
try that. And I don't know if I would say current or today or modern. So I could put a couple different terms there and just see what happens. Google Scholar, the benefit of that is it's really flexible with the terminology. But so like here, let's see, this kind of looks interesting. The nonprofit sector in historical perspective, traditions of philanthropy, and this says Christian concern. So that's a book. And then notice here, this is an article that we own. Historical overview of philanthropy. Philanthropy is another word for charity, so you could try researching the word philanthropy or charity. And here where it says the modern meaning of philanthropy, that sounds kind of interesting. See these links over here? These mean that we own this article at our library because I've linked my Google Scholar over to Regent. So if you go up here in Google Scholar and go down to settings and then library links, and then you look up Regent University, which I already did, you see, but it gives me a couple different places called Regent University. So I don't want the one in London, but I'm going to pick this one, these, and that will instantly show me the articles that we have in our databases. So kind of similar to what Primo does. And so then I can click on that and go right over to that article. And so it's pretty fast. So that's an option as well. Does anyone else have questions?
Thank you.
And if you want more help, feel free to email me or call me. My email, or you can use the chat.
Okay, I'll do that. Thanks.
Any other questions about Primo or anything else that I've mentioned?
I appreciate your information and your expertise.
Thank you. Is that Melody talking or Elizabeth?
Yes, that was Melody. Thank you for your
Okay.
time.
Sure.
And
Thanks for coming.
Elizabeth agrees. Thank you, Dr. Cruz.
Sure. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, feel free to contact me if you need help, or like I said, we have the 24/7 chat at the library, or you can just submit a research question to that. It's a page called Ask a Librarian. So if you ever want help from a librarian, feel free to, I'll put that link here too. I guess that's it.